Hey guys, it's the History Nerd, and we are back with another exciting episode of Europa Universalis for Great Britain. Or England, or whatever it was that I called this thing to start with. Doesn't really matter. Where we last left off, we were slowly but surely climbing out of the military hole we had dug ourselves. But it's still taken us a little while to catch up with the Spanish and the Portuguese, which is a little frustrating, but hey, we seem to be pulling it off just fine. We've also been being pestered by Crete. Spain has a claim on them. Okay, fine. Those colonies don't want to work. That's fine. We won't. So you can see here, for some reason, they've got Venice and myself listed as their rival, and they're ruled by the communists, actually. So this is what happened to the Byzantine rulers, I suppose, or maybe the Trapezoid rulers? Whichever one, they wound up there. And I'll be honest with you, it's not nice. It's not nice for them to be doing that. I think we need to teach them a lesson. Now, if we take a look, I imagine their military power is going to be pretty low. And you can see here, we are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're 6th in the world, which isn't too bad, total-wise. And, I mean, that's going to be going up. We're nowhere near our force limit, so that can go nowhere but up. Well, let's see here if we can find Crete. They're already pretty low down. They're very low down. And, I mean, they can't be that high. Maybe we'll have to do this alphabetized. There we go, Crete. 3,000 infantry, and they've got a manpower of 12,600. So we don't actually have enough transports currently to go off and capture that island. It is not that far. Especially since they have a tech advantage. But we could get there pretty easily, I would imagine. So if they have 3,000 infantry, if we drop 30,000 troops, that should be more than enough. So let's just take a look. We're about halfway, a little over halfway, to reaching our force limit and nowhere near it on our navy. So step 1 is just a bunch of Indiamen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that'll leave us with 12, and that really should be enough. 12,000 troops should be enough to take Crete. Yeah, and they're keeping doing stupid things like that. And I don't know why. I don't know what I did to piss Crete off, but obviously it was something. So, you know, we'll just have to teach them a lesson here. So we're going to go ahead and repay our second last loan, which is exciting. And we're making decent money now. That much is for sure. Why? Because they're Catholic? I don't care. I don't care about that. All right. Now, we don't want to waste any military power on quantity or defensive or anything like that. But what we could certainly do is throw some money at our diplomatic ideas, I guess. We've already got expansion all the way done. So we might as well permanent cause belli against less advanced nations in Asia. That doesn't sound too bad, does it? We'll go ahead and do that. And slowly work our diplomatic stuff up. Because if I remember correctly, tech-wise, we're doing fine. We're 9 years ahead of time. Oh, France has declared war upon their new enemy, Muscovy. Okay, so the nation of Muscovy, your faithful ally, is requesting that you come to their aid in the multiple conflicts they are engaged in against France, French Canada, Brittany, and Majafit. This is a defensive war where we need to help our ally. France is allied with Poland, Baden, Ferrara, and Mantua. If we decline, we're not going to decline. We need Muscovy. And I don't think France was really counting on, you know, the North American British Empire to agree, because now, although it looks like Newfoundland's already at war with French Canada, so now that's just been expanded. That's fine. Can we call these guys? Well, that wouldn't be a covert action, would it? Relations, dynastic, no, 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 no. Well, whatever. They're a protectorate, so I don't know. I guess we don't really technically have an alliance. And, well, they're a vassal, so they should be coming along with the war. Let's check that. Apparently not. Well, that's fine. That's fine. What I won't be doing, though, is using this as an excuse to, you know, launch an attack. Although, well, the 33 light ships concern me. Especially since a lot of these warships here are outdated war galleons. We only have, what, 3 or 4 actual modern-day warships? So that's not good. We're just going to have to sit out a blockade against the French, but what we can do, certainly, is send our armies to assist things. Okay, that's fine. You know what? We're not going to bother with that island right now. What we should be doing is expanding in Africa, to be honest. So I think that location there would be best. And we're going to blow some money on some line infantry. And then a couple of cavalry. Maybe just 1 cavalry will be enough. And why not? Get some artillery too. Yes, please. Perfect. So there we go. We are caught up in tech, basically. We're just 1 tech behind. And obviously we'll be getting the Redcoat Infantry in the next tech advance. But that shouldn't be too far off, and it's actually a good thing that we're catching up. Looks like more and more are joining in that war, but you know, basically this is Muscovy's war, and they're going to be doing most of the fighting, mainly because they're going for this chunk of France, I would imagine. Which, you know, really, in this world, it makes more sense for this to be Muscovite than French. Well, in any world, that's the way that that works. The unfortunate thing is all of our transports are going to have to sit there and wait this out. But, yeah, you know, that's okay. Peasants typically had no voice, but they could occasionally gain access to the monarch and ask for redress. Sometimes these requests for redress would be directed at the local lord, who was perceived to be violating the peasants' rights. Stepping in to override a noble's local authority was a very drastic step. No. Okay, well, at least we've got the military at home to deal with such a ridiculous uprising. Now, where is my general? He is in the Army of Ireland, which is over there. So we will go no leader. Because I imagine, well, the peasants don't have a leader, but you know what? We can get General Cook involved. Oh, that's going to be river crossing, so we'll go like that. There we go. And just like that, we've put down the rebels. Suck it. I'd really like it if Spain could get their armies off my land. Although I guess if they ever come to war with me, that prevents them from fighting. So that's actually a good thing. My word, look at Muscovy. Just throwing men at this war like it ain't nobody's business. Which is good. I don't think France is going to be able to recover here. Yeah, I highly doubt it. Good on you, Muscovy. Keep beating those French down. We'll do our part as best we can in the New World. We'll actually just send him over there and get him to link up with the Newfoundland army. That should be all we need to do there. And look at the amount of North America that's opened up here. Might be worth it to send some, well, maybe we can't. I guess those are uncolonizable, and then the rest is Spanish. So yeah, we're not going to be able to get any other chunks unless we get a chunk of French Canada. which is regrettable, but it is life. Is this actually gonna... It's probably not gonna survive. That's a shame, but that's okay. Now, what I should be doing is building up an invasion force to go for Crete. Because we'll leave the Royal Army at home. And if we actually... because it's an island, we probably won't need any sort of cavalry. So if we just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then a couple of artillery pieces here. That should be good enough to take Crete, I would imagine. There we go. We'll see if we can get anything out of this war, because we are doing a little bit. So how is that looking now? Just plus 75, huh? Well, that's not very good. And I doubt that they would accept an alliance. Yeah, they wouldn't. Okay, we'll just recall our diplomat. At least they're a bit happier with us now. And let's check the situation in Glamorgan. We got to get that up. I have a feeling that sabotage reputation is just Crete. It's just Crete being a jerk. How can I... Thought there was a way to attach an army. Perhaps I'm thinking of CK2? Not really sure. Oh, that's a bit of a letdown that I can't attach an army there, but I mean, it is what it is, right? So we can't get too bent out of shape over it. Somehow we'll survive. What the heck? Oh, Brittany. Well, come on, Cuba, defend your damn land. Get some transports over and get the second army over and defend yourself. I don't really want to lose prestige. And how is British Mexico looking? 19%? Oh yeah, we're doing fine. We're doing just fine. So we'll give you guys a diplomatic candidate or perhaps a military candidate. What were you? You were a military candidate. You served 2 terms. So, yeah, we'll keep the military candidate going. British Mexico seems to be the armory of the empire, so that's okay. We'll get all you guys to go to Abomey, and while we're waiting, we'll send a colonist there. Alright, good. Everybody survived. Crete is sowing discontent. There we go. We can merge those guys together. And this is the Army of Africa. There we go. Perfect. So we'll just continue on with the exploitation of that. It's about the only place we can colonize now, so might as well do it. General Ernest Cook is dead. Oh no. There we go. And considering these guys' mission, we will call them the Royal... That doesn't look right. Royal Marines. M-A-R-I-N-E-S. There we go. That looks better. Yes. So hopefully Muscovy here can end their war with France relatively quickly. We can get our fleet rebuilt and regrouped. Mercantilism is right. No, I don't want him to leave the Ivory Coast, so we'll do that. I don't want him to leave the Ivory Coast mainly because I'm lazy. And I don't want to have to reassign a whatchamacallit. A guy. A merchant. There's the words. Words coming to my brain. Alright. So, how badly is this going for us, really? Our war enthusiasm is still up there, but our war exhaustion certainly is climbing. Perhaps we should spend some money to reduce it. That's there. There we go. Now look at that. Nobody cares. A Bomi. Yeah, we've got that. We've got that taken care of. So now this is exciting. New lands, finally, coming into Great Britain. With the unfortunate loss of our Indian lands, which, I mean, we could try and retake here in the next little while. Although we are quickly coming out of time. You know, it's slowly starting to get to the end. I believe it's 1821. So, you know, we don't have a lot of time left. And I'm thinking Scotland isn't going to wind up coming back in. So that's... No, we need that. Although I wish it didn't increase the cost of ships. But what can you do? We're kind of stuck. We have a lot of buildings left that we could build. We definitely took a turn. The 18th century has not been good for Britain. There's no doubt about that. But you know what? Lessons learned. This is really the largest colonial empire that I've had to deal with, especially with the Conquest of Paradise expansion. So I can say that I've definitely learned some things. And the next game, I plan to put those lessons to good use. Perhaps by not even playing a colonial power. I don't know. I'm toying around with a couple ideas for the next game. Russia in the little game that I've been in, the little test game, has been fun. France is always a blast too. That's really tempting. Perhaps someone in the HRE that isn't Austria, although that's, you know, that's tough. Lose 10 Republican tradition, gain 5% liberty desire, but we're not losing any prestige that way. We don't want to lose prestige, so we're going to have to keep them. Which is a shame, because now that goes up to like 34%. And Newfoundland's big. I don't particularly want Newfoundland to declare independence. That's a very big nation. A very large chunk of the empire would just disappear if that happened. Alright guys, so working under the assumption that at least some of you will come with me, I'd like you to come along too, British Mexico, because we need the manpower to be able to block that little French-Canadian army from doing anything. It seems that the government that governs the least governs the best as far as Sunda is concerned. Our non-involvement in Sunda has proved beneficial and the local economy is booming. Yeah, okay. They can do things on their own? That is interesting. Who'da thunk it? We got a free military leader, but at the moment that doesn't really matter. Those guys are getting uppity. But you know what? They don't have a choice in the matter. We're conquering them, damn it. Alright, seriously, Muscovy, let's step this up a bit, alright? The term is up for George William Northumberland, so we're going to have to go with a new guy in Cuba, and we'll give him a military candidate, seeing as how they're having issues with that. Monarchs were often struggling with ways to subdue the nobility. The rise of firearms reduced a noble's role as warriors, but left them with, in the eyes of the monarchs, too much idle time. Some monarchs created great new palaces with elaborate court rituals to dazzle the nobles and keep them occupied. Versailles is the greatest expression of this movement. We have the money, so let's build the palace. Speaking of money, let's do that, because that's a good thing to do. And we could probably do with some more transports. Why can't... There we go. And so I'm thinking, although really what we could do more of is big-ass warships. That's what we really need. So we'll go for anyone that's under 400 days here. That's, okay, that's all of our money. Spent in one shot, that's fine. And then this means we can phase out a couple more of those old war galleons and just get rid of them, scrap them, and expansion ideas, huh? That would, yeah, actually, I should have done that before doing the other thing of building up those ships. Oh well, can only assume that that the bonus will carry over to the ships that I'm currently producing. But who knows? There we go! We have caught up completely, and we will go with the Redcoat infantry. I do believe we are Great Britain after all, so the Redcoat has its origins in the British Army, where the small size of the army meant it was important to husband your resources. Trained and drilled to withstand fire attacks, these troops relied on sheer staying power to keep them in the fight. Our other options, of course, are the Frederican infantry, the elite infantry of Frederick the Great. These troops are ruthlessly drilled to give high morale and favor the offensive over the defensive. We've got our Blue Coat infantry. Having its origins in the French armies of Louis XIV, the Blue Coat infantry displays special elan on the attack, perfect for leaders who believe that offensive will always triumph over the defensive. And then finally the White Coat, having its beginning in the Habsburg military frontier fighting the Ottoman cavalry-based armies. The White Coats were drilled and equipped primarily to resist cavalry charges. They were not as effective against musket-equipped infantry or on the offensive, but still useful against strong cavalry-based armies. Redcoats, obviously. Oh. We've got a little uprising up there. We might deal with that at a later date. Or we might not. We'll just have to see. Time will tell. There we go. France will renounce their claims on Smolensk, Bryansk, and Kursk. France will give Corps Breda to the Netherlands. France will give Corps Nevers to Burgundy. France will release Ukraine as a sovereign state. France will pay 375 ducats. The peace will cost Muscovy a whopping 250 diplomatic power. As a defender, Muscovy gains 28 prestige and suffers 0 aggressive expansion points. France loses out, and Muscovy gets a little bit, tiny bit of inflation. So one can only imagine next step for Muscovy is going to be going for the Ukraine. Or just going for Ukraine. And, yeah. At least that's that. Now what we can do is consolidate our new transport ships. Now let's grab the one from Norfolk as well. Come on. There we go. Merge those suckers together. And we should have one more transport ship. There it is. Head on over to Essex, please, and we'll move the Royal Marines to Essex as well. And then these 3-deckers should be done soon. A royal marriage offer from Cornwall. That sounds superb. And now let's start annexing this guy back. You had a little bit of fun freedom times, but we really don't need you. So with you working to annex, you don't need to improve relations there. So the governor of 5 colonies has suddenly died. We'll send a military candidate over there and a new governor in British Columbia. We will give you a military candidate. Because who knows when the Iberians are going to come for us, but they probably will. Let's face facts. The way this game's gone, they'll come for us. But at least now, we're going to be fighting them on pretty much a level military playing field. The Portuguese might be able to get slightly better artillery in play, but we're going to match them infantry for infantry, which is good. Did you guys not make peace? Apparently you didn't. Well, that's fine. We'll send you back. Yeah, we'll go to Potawatomi there instead of Buttonland. And how is this looking? We've got a bit more interior African knowledge. Dendi, which looks, you know, it's a thing. Producing grain, not really all that important. It's really Western Mali here that's looking juicy. And that might be worth going to war over. That would be a very easy war to win. And of course, it would keep Spain sort of split in Africa. There's not much we can do to split up Portugal. So that's annoying, but it's a thing. And at least we've kept Madagascar. So that's good with its ivory, and gold. I like that. And that's really our only other little island out in the Indian Ocean. People are complaining about our narrow-minded approach to new ideas. They claim that we are running roughshod over ancient philosophical liberties and similar nonsense. That's not good. We need to boost that back up. All right. Now it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, 7, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Select this unit, just sail it over there for now, and we'll make sure. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Perfect. Merge those guys together and we can get rid of those old-fashioned war galleons. Should save us a little bit of bank and make our fleet just that a little bit more effective. In the meantime, let's attach you guys to the transports and sail you on down to Crete, because I believe we can just outright declare war on them. Riga is the defender of the Catholic faith and will protect them. Let's take a look at Riga. I'm not concerned. And really, Muscovy might be interested in getting in on that war. We'll find out. Our prestige is almost at 0, which is great. We've got no debt, which is better. A royal marriage with Muscovy? Absolutely, my friends. All right. So we will slow speed down to 3. Their fleet is not a concern. They have a royal marriage with Spain, but no other sort of alliance. We're going to get a little bit of a stability hit because we don't have a Quasi Belli, but you know what? We need it. Let's just see. Muscovy is not willing to join. That's fine. We'll worry about getting our stability back up in a moment. I don't think the Frango Callisto there, the heavy frigate, is going to be that much of a concern. No, it's not. Oh, damn, I should have put a leader on this. Oh, well. The Cretians don't have a leader. Oh, now they do. Well, we'll see. 3, 1, 4, 2. If we are interested in building up good relations and possible alliances with the native tribes of the New World, we might need to restrain some of our colonies from declaring colonial wars. Newfoundland, apparently, but this is going to the 5 colonies. Keep them on a tight leash. 5 colonies is going to gain 25% liberty desire. That's going to put them at 45. Whew. It's not in our interest. But you know what we will do? Once I get a chance, we'll just send a diplomat over. Battle of the Sea of Crete again. I just want the troops to land. And I'm a little bit worried now with this good leader there. And the fact that we're going to be, you know, leaving from ships. Apparently that was, you know, not a concern I needed to worry about. It looks like the Royal Marines were able to take Crete without much of a bother. Which is good. Oh no, that's not the Union Jack. That's a completely different ship. So now we'll just have to siege down Crete, and obviously our old-fashioned ships. We're taking a little bit of attrition on these guys. We don't have any fleet basing rights basically anywhere. Possibly with Austria? Let's see. What if we send them a gift? No, not covert. I want relations. Or economic. There we go. Send them a gift. It's pretty damn expensive to get that 5. That's not worth it. All of our treasury just to get fleet basing rights, that is not worth it. We'll make do. This shouldn't last too long. It's not a very large fort. And, you know, we've got artillery, so that should punch through sooner than later. Permanent matter of regal attention, fortification of the realm always received great care, particularly at the border or in strategic places such as capitals, major shipyards, or important colonies. It is of utmost importance. Fish Islands, sure, why not? I don't think the Fish Islands are going to get any sort of invasion, but, you know, now there's even less of a chance of it, so we're okay with that. Really, what I could do is just send these guys back home. They don't really need to be hanging around there. We're going to annex Crete anyway. We need a presence in the Mediterranean. We're not getting Gibraltar, so we might as well get Crete. And, yeah, we'll just leave the Royal Marines station there. You never have too much grain. That is, not what I wanted. I picked this because there was, you know, the most amount of money flowing through, and now it's grain. So, yippee. Yeah, what else can we be blowing some money on? We could probably do another 7 3-deckers here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That works. 10 more 3-deckers. We can remove 10 more war galleons, which is good. Speaking of, where my fleet at? It's not home yet. There it is. There it is. We also don't have any trade fleets going either, from what I remember, so we might have to get those set up. Thankfully, we're making enough money that it's not necessary, but it would probably be a good thing to do. We'll worry about that next. So the walls have been breached. I am really tempted just to assault this down, even though they haven't lost too much of their garrison. With the walls breached, I think we got a better chance when we assault. So, you know, that is something to consider. Again, I don't know why I went there. I didn't need to. You guys just keep it up, all right? Thank you. And what have we got there? 3 little archipelago ships. And a transport. That's nothing to worry about. Although we might need to build a little bit of a archipelago frigate fleet just for Crete. It is in an inland sea, so that would be where they're most effective. And it would be a good defensive force for this little island, which we are going to need to worry about doing. Especially with the Spanish right over here in Greece. Which might not be a bad idea to go in and sort of force them to release Greece. If we wind up going to war with Spain again. I don't know. I don't think it's very likely for that to happen. But it could. So you never know. We might as well. No. Because we're annexing Glamorgan here. Technically Cornwall. So we won't throw another diplomat anywhere else. You're really trying this, aren't you, Crete? You're really thinking, yeah, I got a plan. I know what I'll do to get England to stop the invasion. It's not going to work. If you just, you know, stayed out of it, kept your focus mainly in the Mediterranean, or even just focusing on survival. That would have been great, but you didn't. You decided not to. You decided to be a jerk. That's Venice, that's the Ottomans. And get yourself involved in Great Britain, and we didn't appreciate that. So I'm going to try an assault here. It seems justifiable. We've got the manpower to afford it, and I'd rather get this island under our control sooner than later. So there we go. And we will sue for peace, and guess what? Full annexation. 15 aggressive expansion, and it will give us 2 prestige. Why would the peace give Crete 2 prestige? That I don't understand. So let's just see who this is going to anger. Obviously, it's going to anger Crete. The Spanish aren't going to like it. The French don't really appreciate it. Scotland's mildly peeved, and the Muscovites, for some reason, are like, no, you shouldn't do that. I guess we could take a look at other possible options. We could make them a vassal. What? Crete will become a vassal. Your new subject will drag you into a war with Spain, Florida, Castile, West Indies, Castilian, Brazil. Why would that happen? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's why. Yeah. No, but that still will drag us into a war with all of them, and that's not what I want. So we're just going to annex, because that won't drag us into a war. That's bizarre. Although I guess Spain has a claim on it, so that could sort of make sense. But whatever. There we go. We got a bit of overextension. That's fine. We'll just make this a core. It'll take 45 months, and then it'll be us. And then we'll have to go in and obviously convert them. But that'll be something to do later on. We've got a free leader that we can give. Sidney Cavendish. You're not a very good leader. But we'll put you in command because we got nobody else. And honestly, that seems like a good place to leave the video. For the first time in a long time, Great Britain's expanded. So watch out, world. We're making a comeback. Anyway, thumbs up if you have enjoyed the video. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, jokes, musings, what have you below. Also, leave, now that we're getting close to the end, we're less than 100 years out, leave some suggestions for the next nation you guys want to see. I'm open to pretty much anything, bearing in mind, as you can see with Great Britain, who is really one of the nations that are easy mode in this game, I haven't done that well. So if you're looking for a one province world conquest or something like that, this is the wrong place to look for that. But yeah, so leave your suggestions in the comments below. Thank you all very, 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 very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.